Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Theo Hikmet here. Friends call me Jason Zelda. We're going to be dealing with a topic that I think you'll find very interesting. Hopefully, this will help you understand a few things that are going on within the Jehovah's Witness cult. There are some things that people have been asking questions about concerning why all of a sudden the leadership of the group is changing a whole bunch of the rules and things within the group, sort of softening things up. Women can wear slacks, men can now wear beards, and this, that, and the other. What other things are coming possibly down the pipe, and why? That's been a question people have been asking, and I think I might have tapped into something. I've learned that when doing research into the Jehovah's Witness cult, using just English-speaking sources is not always the best way of finding things. Many times you have to use foreign sources, foreign newspapers, foreign publications, and translate them into English and find out what's really going on, because I think a lot of things that are happening in the background of the Jehovah's Witness organization, if it was done in America, it would be very noticeable. People would have video and audio and be able to see what's going on. But if they do these things in a foreign country where English is not the first language, they're able to get away with doing a lot more things without people who speak English knowing what's happening. Most people are not even going to know to even look into these things. And if they did look into it, they're going to find the books and the articles and things that are in a language that they don't understand. And most are not going to want to do the research of translating all this stuff and then having to study the translation and all that goes into it's a big process. So for this one here, I'm providing a bunch of links to the articles and things that I'm going to be quoting from. And I want you to understand that these links are going to take you to sites that in the most part are not in English. You have to use your browser to translate it into English. But I think it's going to get some light shined on what's going on in the background of the Jehovah's Witness organization and why they're making the changes that they're making, and more changes that could be coming down the road. So what do I think is going on? First of all, when I was young, there was a movement known as the ecumenical movement. The Catholic Church was behind it. And basically, it was all about trying to merge the religions of the world together into one super religion where they're all in agreement on the basic things, and they wanted one person to be at the top of the whole thing. And I think the Catholic Church wanted to be the Pope would be at the top, whoever the Pope happened to be, and would be in control of all of these religions. Over the years, they've been using their power and influence to infiltrate a whole bunch of different religions. And you'll find that a lot of religions out there has some kind of tie to the Catholic Church. Even in Christianity, they've taken Catholic manuscripts and flooded the Christian community with these Catholic manuscripts, and that's where the modern versions of the Bible come from. But the King James Bible is not translated from the Catholic manuscripts. Therefore, they consider the King James Bible as the enemy. And they tell people it's too hard to read, it's too hard to understand. You need a modern translation. And they don't want you reading the King James because it says something different, it teaches something different, and it doesn't have the ties to the Catholic Church. Now, the ecumenical movement has seemed to have gone through a name change. In a modern day, they appear to be calling it the interreligious dialogue. You'll be hearing that term used a lot. The Catholic Church is still over top of it. It's just changing the name. Here you have Vatican News 2025. We'll put it on the screen here. You'll see Pope Leo standing in front of a group of men and women, finely dressed, in front of him. And it says here, intercultural and interreligious dialogue, an initiative of the European Parliament. It says the Pope began by thanking them for the initiative and expressing his hope that it would bear much fruit. What is he talking about? The picture here says, underneath the caption, it says Pope Leo XIV addresses the working group of intercultural and interreligious dialogue. This is 2025, where he is making this speech promoting the interreligious dialogue. He also put together this, again it'll be up on your screen, right from what they call the Holy See. And in this, the title is Address of His Holiness Pope Leo XIV to members of the working group of the Intercultural and Interreligious Dialogue, September 29th, 2025. So he's put together this whole thing here where he says, Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to welcome those of you from the European Parliament who have established the Working Group of Intercultural and Interreligious Dialogue. I congratulate you on this initiative and hope it will bear much fruit. Promoting dialogue between cultures and religion is a key objective for a Christian politician, and thanks be to God, there is no shortage of a people who have given good witness to this regard. Being men and women of dialogue means remaining deeply rooted in the gospel and in the values that flow from it, and at the same time cultivating openness, listening, and dialogue with those who have come from other backgrounds, always placing the human person, human dignity, and relational and communal nature at the center. And he goes on to praise this interreligious dialogue. Now, let's jump into this. Again, another foreign news thing here from the Gobierno de Santa Cruz, dated October 7th, 2025. This would have been last week. It's good to have waited, because if I tried to put something out earlier, this stuff would not have been available yet. It's often good to wait until the facts come out before putting together a video. This one here, it says here, let's put it up on the screen. The second interreligious dialogue table was held at the Government House. This morning, the second interreligious dialogue roundtable, organized by the Provincial Secretariat of Worship, was held in the Gregorius Hall at the Government House. The meeting was chaired by the head of the department, Monica Piera, and included the participation of representatives from various religious communities and Rio Gallegos, who participated in this interreligious dialogue. Take a listen. Members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Baha'i community, the Catholic Church, Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that'll be the Mormons, the Argentine Pentecostal Methodist Church, Open Heaven, the Universal Church, that would be the Moonies, and Jehovah's Witnesses, among others, participated. Now, did the leadership of their Jehovah's Witnesses tell their members that they are sitting in dialogue with people of these other religious groups, from Seventh-day Adventists to Mormons to Baha'i to the Universal Church and all? Did they inform their members that they're sitting and breaking bread with people of these other religions? Or did they tell their members that these other religions are Babylon the Great, that Jehovah is going to destroy at Armageddon? You see, I don't think the leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses had no idea that there was going to be an article written about them being there. But it was written in another country, in another language, and I'm certain they never expected that somebody who spoke English would go and hunt it down, translate it, and then make it known to the English-speaking people. But it doesn't end there. It gets more interesting. Let's keep reading. During the meeting, various topics relating to planning joint activities for the Christmas holidays were discussed. Joint activities? Christmas? Jehovah's Witnesses? Doing joint activities with Seventh-day Adventists, Baha'i, Catholic, Mormons, Pentecostals, Moonies, and others? This is just a short list of some of the religions that were there. They also have Sikhs, Hinduism, Islam, and a number of other religions too. They were talking about here planning joint activities with these groups during Christmas 2025. Let's keep reading. It says, actually, the meeting was going to be held every 2 months, but we had agreed that when an important issue arose, we would convene again. Piera explained to the Undersecretary of Production and Content, adding, and one of the proposals was precisely to work on something together to close out the year. That would be the year 2025, this year that this video is being made. So here's the question that I have. The Jehovah's Witnesses, as you saw, are part of this group. Is there going to be new light given on celebrating Christmas around Christmas time? Or are they going to come out with an article praising Christmas and how other religions celebrate Christmas, but pretending like they have nothing to do with it around Christmas time? All the while, their representatives here in this group will be celebrating Christmas with the Seventh-day Adventists, the Mormons, the Baha'i, the Pentecostals, the Moonies, and Islam, and Hindus, and others. And they just simply won't tell the Jehovah's Witness members that this is actually going on. Have they ever done something like this before? Sure they have. In the year 2000, the World Health Organization held a blood drive. We'll put it up on the screen. The whole purpose of the blood drive was to promote blood transfusions, giving blood, donating blood, the whole 9 yards. The leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses showed up there. This was the year 2000. They never expected, just like here, they never expected an article was going to be written about it that would expose them. But in the article that was written about that World Health Day Organization gathering, again in a foreign country, they said the objectives of the Congress were to ensure a better service for donors and for those in need of blood using quality controls at entry-level minimal risk. Of note was the presence of Jehovah's Witnesses at the Congress, because they know Jehovah's Witnesses openly speaks against blood transfusions. Yet here they are at an assembly promoting donating blood and receiving blood transfusions. And they made no mention of the Jehovah's Witness leaders raising a ruckus or an issue about it. They were participating in it, knowing that there's no problem with getting a blood transfusion. The people there would have informed them that the doctrine that they have on blood transfusion was wrong. Yet to this day, they continue to push this blood transfusion nonsense that has caused the life of so many of their members. And to this day, the majority of their members have no idea that they ever appeared at that World Health Organization event promoting blood drives, blood donations, and blood transfusions. They're playing both sides. On the one side, they say are against blood transfusions, it's against Jehovah's will. On the other side, they're joining organizations that promotes blood transfusions. So what's going to happen for Christmas 2025? Are they going to allow their people to celebrate Christmas for the first time in decades, or are they going to dance around the edges and write some kind of article praising Christmas, but pretending like they're not really part of this organization that told them that they wanted to work together with all these other religions to promote Christmas? Let's keep an eye out around Christmas time to see what comes out of the Watchtower organization concerning this. There's more from this very same article. It says here, Pierre announced that the activities planned for December will focus on the values of family and the Christmas spirit. So if they come out with an article around Christmas where they're promoting family, Christmas spirit, the holiday, how other religions are practicing Christmas, we'll see if that's what they do to fulfill what this group wants them to do. The next highlighted section in the next paragraph said the Secretary also recalled last year, as part of the celebrations, the Secretariat of Worship promoted a pre-Christmas calendar with messages of peace and hope from the various religious communities. So every year they were coming out with what they call DEI calendars. Now you've heard a lot of talk these days about DEI. Okay, this is one of those groups that's been pushing DEI, merging together these religions under DEI. And these are not my words. Interfaith calendar for 2025, put it on the screen. And you'll see right down here at the bottom, it calls it a DEI calendar. It's their words, not mine. DEI calendar. Is the Watchtower in here? Jehovah's Witnesses in here? Are they in the calendar for 2025? There's only one holiday Jehovah's Witnesses are allowed to celebrate right now. That's the memorial. That's the only one they're allowed to celebrate. April. Major religious holidays for April. Put it on the screen in the DEI calendar. You have April 10th, Jane, celebrating the birth of Jainism, founder of Jainism. Then it says April 12th, Jehovah's Witness, the memorial of Jesus' death, commemorates the death of Jesus Christ. Then you have April 13th to 20th, the Jewish Passover. April 14th, you have a Hindu celebration. And then April 20th, Easter, where Christians celebrate the resurrection. Jehovah's Witnesses celebrate death. But here they are in the DEI calendar. The links will be provided down below. This one here from the Intercultural Cities program. Again, it was in a different language. I had to have it translated. And I'm glad that I screen captured it. Because when I went back to look at it again, the website was gone. But they're too late. I already got the screen capture. The Intercultural Cities program, from a website that as of right now, they've taken it down. But you're too late, boys. I already got the goods. It says here, the process. What is this interreligious organization about? What's the process, it says? The Roundtable of Interreligious Dialogue is formed by a representative from the municipality, from the Integration and Coexistence Department, and by members representing the religious community in SALT, Catholics, Evangelists, Muslims, and Sikhs. In addition, the table has a coordinator who is also part of ADOR Association, the UNESCO Association for Interreligious Dialogue. UNESCO is part of the United Nations. I told you guys years ago that the Jehovah's Witness organization never left the UN. I told you in an earlier video that the Jehovah's Witness organization goes by a whole bunch of different names, and I think I went down to about 17 different names that they use around the world, and that's not even the full list. So when the Guardian publication in England broke the story that the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society was part of the UN, while at the same time they were demonizing the UN, the very next day, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society removes the name Watchtower Bible and Tract Society from the UN roll. But the Jehovah's Witnesses never left. They just took that name off the list. They stayed in under a different name. Usually it's the European Association of Jehovah's Christian Witnesses or the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses or something like that. They're still there. And because they're part of this interreligious dialogue, they are now plugged in to the UN again. They're all the more plugged in because it is tied to UNESCO. Look at what else it says here. There is a well-established cooperation between the different religious communities and associations that are part of the table or participants in its activities and the municipality. In the last year, the table has focused its work on the public recognition of different religious practices through several public actions. Not private actions, public actions, but taking place overseas where American eyes won't see it. Hopefully you'll start looking. One example was the celebration of Pickanar Year in 2018, which included the organization of a conference involving local youth. This is foreign. I had to translate it. It's not happening here in America. It's being hidden from the Americans. Let me try it again. And last year, the table has focused its work on the public recognition of the different religious practices through several public actions. One example was the celebration of Pickanar Year in 2018, which included the organization of a conference involving local youth who practiced different religions. There was a representation of Catholics, Muslims, evangelists, Sikhs, witnesses of Jehovah, and agnostics. It's right here in black and white. Joining forces with who they say is Babylon the Great. Why would the Watchtower organization be joining forces with the religions that they claim are Babylon the Great? Why is it that when you pull the covers back on this, the naked bodies of the Jehovah's Witness leaders are there too, with all the rest of them? There was a representation of Catholics, Muslims, evangelists, Sikhs, witnesses of Jehovah, and agnostics. Led by the Department of Integration and Living Together, the celebration counted on the participants of the table. The table has also organized a week around religions, including guided visits to the different places of worship. Are Jehovah's Witnesses allowed to go to any places of worship except for Jehovah's Witness places of worship, like Kingdom Halls or Jehovah's Witness convention centers? Are they allowed to go to a Baptist church, Pentecostal church, Catholic church, mosque, synagogue? No. But the leaders and the people who they approve are allowed to do it, as they're merging themselves with these other religions. Some of these strong tenets that they had, that they bound their people down with these rules, all of a sudden these rules are starting to loosen up as they want to fit in more and more and more with these other groups so that they can be counted along with them. Are you starting to see where I'm coming from here? Another initiative launched by the table is the Interreligious Calendar, edited every year. And I just showed you 2025 calendar. The only holiday Jehovah's Witnesses celebrate is in that calendar because they're part of that group. This one here is from 8/14/2025. The link will be provided. Again, it's most likely going to be in another language. It's this interreligious thing, merging it all together, mixing it all in a big pot to convert it into one big super religion. He's talking about, in his article here, about the non-discrimination of religions and things of that nature. We're going to go to this section here that's highlighted. A first dialogue session has already taken place with the 8 denominations and religions: Buddhist, Islamic, Catholic, Evangelic, Romanian Orthodox, Baha'i, Latter-day Saints, that's the Mormons, and Jehovah's Witnesses, that have a declared presence in the Basque Country and are present to present the context of the decree and open a period of contributions. The next meeting will be in September The council, which will have an advisory role, is expected to make up of representatives from the three levels of government and an equal number of representatives from denominations, communities, or associations with expertise in interfaith matters. Its function will be to advise public administrations in all matters related to interfaith dialogue and planning issues. So we're seeing here a merging together of religion and politics and government all in one, as it looks to me like they're trying to put together this global religion with the Jehovah's Witnesses included in with them. Babylon the Great. While they tell their members that all of these religions are of the devil, satanic, and they will shun you and disfellowship you if you ever went to these religious establishments. They're doing it. In other countries, they just aren't telling you who speak English that that's what's going on. This one here, Metropolitan Liberal and Summit, August 15th, 2025. Notice everything I'm presenting to you today is 2025. It's 2025 stuff, folks. And because I had to wait for it, I'm able to get it all compiled together to try to make it all make sense. The Ministry of the Interior leads to a meeting with 200 religious leaders to strengthen institutional collaboration, the merging of government and religion. And who's a part of this? Here's a lady who's heading over it with a big smile on her face. It says here the meeting was attended by officials from 6 institutions: the Ministry of the Interior, the Tax Administration, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Institute for the Administration of Appraisal and National Assets, the National Institute of Anthropology and History, and the Federal Electric Commission. A bunch of government organizations. Next paragraph. Participating groups include the Mexican Episcopal Conference, the Kadampa Meditation Center of Mexico, the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, the Church of God, the Center of Faith, Hope, and Love, the Church of the Nazarene in Mexico, the United Pentecostal Church of Mexico, the Mexican Islamic Council, Sikh Dharma of Mexico, the Jewish Religion of Mexico, and the National Presbyterian Church, among others. Why are they making all these changes within the Jehovah's Witness group, changing rules, lightening them up? I think the reason is because of what they're doing with this group. They're taking themselves and mixing themselves in with these other religions so that they can be accepted, so that they can be approved among these other religions, so that when these religions come together, they'll be playing a part in it. Now, notice among the lists, you did not hear anything whatsoever about born-again Christians being a part of this. We're not there. We're not there. Because we already know what the Bible has to say about a coming world religion, and we're not going to participate in it. We don't hate anybody, got no reason to hate anybody. But, as we've seen with events as of late, if people don't like what you say, some of them think they have a right to just gun you down because they don't like what you say. It's a very interesting time that we're moving into, ladies and gentlemen. They talked about 2025 and Christmas time. Let's see what the Watchtower organization does. Are they going to comply? Come up with some article praising Christmas? I don't know if they're going to give their members the freedom to celebrate Christmas yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they, little by little, over the next few years, softened up the rules. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. Now that I've had a chance to look at some of these foreign documents and articles and things, it really doesn't surprise me that behind the scenes, the leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses have been playing a big, long game with their members, telling them to hate these organizations on the one hand while they're joining hands with them over here, telling them these organizations are of the devil and satanic and Babylon the Great over here, telling their members, but over here they're feasting and breaking bread with the very groups that they said was Babylon the Great. So what that means to me is Lady Babylon loves her children, and the Watchtower is one of them. And if you want to come out of Babylon, you have to go for the one that Babylon hates. What is the one group that Babylon hates? What is the one group that the Jehovah's Witness organization always attacks? It's not the Muslims. It's not the Hindus. It's not the Mormons. It's not the agnostics. It's not the atheists. Who is the one group that the Jehovah's Witness leaders always attack? Christendom. Born again Christians who believe that Jesus is God, that he died on the cross, that your sins are forgiven by grace and you can't earn it by good works, that God represents himself as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, three separate beings that share the same deity, share the same nature, that there's a literal burning fiery hell that Jesus came to this earth to die and rise again to save us from, if we'd simply choose him. We're the ones they hate. We're the ones they despise. We who stand for this King James Bible, they can't stand us. Why? Because all these articles that I've just presented to you shows the Watchtower is Babylon. It's part of Lady Babylon. And they thought they could hide it by doing it all overseas in the language that most of us don't speak. But know this, that your sin will find you out. And whistleblowers are everywhere. And I want to thank my buddy Loretta in Africa, whistleblower supreme, who was able to find this and hand it off to me so that I can hand it off to you. If you want to have your sins forgiven, folks, you don't have to join some religious organization like Watchtower or Mormonism or these groups that teach you got to earn your way to heaven by doing work for their group. That's not what the Bible says at all. The Bible doesn't say anything about you earning your way to heaven. Jesus did all the work for us. When he died on that cross, before he died, he didn't say to be continued. He didn't say, I've done my part, now you do your part. No. He said, it is finished. It is finished. He did it all. He did it all. Going into any of these groups is a waste of your time and a waste of your life. One of the saddest things I ever heard was when my friend Loretta was telling me about a friend of hers who had a son, and her son had been given the opportunity of a lifetime to join a sports team of a sport that he was really good at. Once in a lifetime. And his mother comes to him and says, I'm sorry, but you can't join that sport because Jehovah would not approve. It was a lie. This Bible doesn't say anywhere what sports you can and can't play. But the Jehovah's Witness leadership lied to this mother who lied to her son. And because she lied to her son, I said, what is he doing today? What kind of work is he doing today? Well, he washes windows. He washes windows. How many years has passed since he was given that offer? More than 10 years. That opportunity has come and gone and will never come back. And people say, I've never been a Jehovah's Witness. Why do I care? I care because I'm a Christian. And it angers me that the Jehovah's Witness organization claims that it is Christian and it is destroying people's lives by telling them lies. Lying about the Bible, lying about Jesus, lying about the cross, lying about what it takes to be in favor with God, and padding their pockets full of billions of dollars at the expense of their members and calling it Christian. I get fed up to hear what these organizations calling themselves Christian when they're not teaching this book. And I have an obligation as a Christian to stand for what this book says. So I was happy to go and find all this stuff that's written in a language I don't even understand, and have it translated and try to break it down and try to help you guys out, to inform you, hoping that somebody would watch this video. Maybe somebody in the group might have stumbled across this video and like, well, I didn't know the organization was involved in this. I thought they said these groups were Babylon the Great. The Watchtower is Babylon too. They just didn't tell you. So as they say, why don't you come out of her and come to Jesus, who says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Jesus said, come to him. He didn't say go to some organization. You pray and you ask him to forgive you your sins, and you leave that Watchtower organization, like so many others have done. And I'm hoping this video will help people out. I really do hope this video helps people out. I'm a nobody, man. I got no wife, no girlfriend, no kids, but I got a decent job. The Lord's taking good care of me. I've been through a lot of health problems. The Lord's got me through them all. And I want to thank you for those of you that have been praying for me. I appreciate that. So I'm going to end this video. Anybody out there who wants to enjoy my music at jasonzelda.bandcamp.com, jasonzelda.bandcamp.com. My music, you can pay whatever you want to pay for it. I got it set that way. You can pay whatever you want to pay, and it's music of a whole bunch of different styles and all. And with some of my new stuff, I've even been integrating AI to do female lead vocals for some of my songs. It's amazing what I'm able to do now using AI along with my own voice and talents and everything to put together some really great music. So check that out. If you guys have friends or family members who are involved in the Jehovah's Witness cult, I'm working on an updated version of my book, The Whistleblower's Lighthouse. It's going to be, a lot of the information is already in there, but I'm adding more information, taking out some of the pictures, adding more information. Some people had complained about the multiple different fonts that I'd used. So I'm trying to reduce it down to just 3 fonts. And I'm having to go through the whole 500 plus page book and just sort of reducing the book down, simplifying it, adding more information, taking out some of the pictures, but leaving a lot of the important documentation that you're going to need there. For those of you who've already purchased my interactive ebook, the 200 plus has already purchased the book. When I'm done with the updating, with the editing, I'm going to send you all free copies of the updated version. For anybody who's interested in getting a copy, if you get a copy right now, as of right now, you'll be getting the old version, but that's fine. If you leave your email, I will send you the updated version once I'm done with it. My ebook is available at any price you want to pay over $3. Any price you want to pay over $3. You want to pay 10, 30, 100, whatever you want to pay. It'll be probably 470 pages or so by the time I'm done, because I'm streamlining a lot of it down. And as I mentioned, some of the things I'm going to be doing. So any price you want to pay over $3, and you'll find it at jasonzelda.xyz. jasonzelda.xyz. It's called The Whistleblower's Lighthouse. The Whistleblower's Lighthouse. jasonzelda.xyz. Okay, so I'm just wanting to help people out. That's just where my heart is. I want people to come to Jesus. I want them to get back to the King James Bible, and I want them to be informed about cults. I don't want people to get involved in cults and have their lives ruined. Okay, so that's going to be all for right now. I'm going to go ahead and get over to the other computer, start editing this out, and try to get it out there for you guys. I hope this has helped you guys to understand a little bit more. And until next we meet, folks, I'm Jason Zelda, and I'll see you guys down the road. Good night, everybody.